FT8 on an iPad into the 891 in the POTA part. Hello YouTube, Andrew here. Kilo 4 Oscar Tango Tango. In this video I'm going to show you how I got my FT8 and my iPad hooked up to do FT8. If you want to see how I did it, stick around. Okay, so if you've made it this far, you want to see how I did it. I thought this was an almost impossible task because everybody uses Windows or Androids and stuff like that to do FT8 with. All I have is my iPad. That's what I log with, and it's with me all the time. My phone's Apple, so everything's Apple based that goes out in the field. I have a very old laptop over here. I don't even attempt that. But I had an epiphany the other day about the Digi Rig 891. USB-C. My iPad is an iPad Pro that has USB-C. And I thought to myself, I could just plug that in straight to my iPad. Will it work? Somebody baking in APRS. That's probably Whiskey 4 Golf Sugar Sugar. If you're watching. Love you, buddy. Before the Digi Rig 891 came out, I knew it was impossible because it had two cables. But once they come out with the Digi Rig 891 that has one cable coming out, I thought it's possible. So I did a little research and I found some people that had done it on their phone, the new iPhones that have the USB-C. So I thought, surely I can do it. So what did I do? I picked me up a Digi Rig 891. I found a form, and I believe it's on the website for the FT8 software for the iPad. It's called FT8, I do believe. I'll put a correction somewhere on the screen if that's wrong. If you just type in on the App Store FT8, it pops up. It's, I think, $1.99. And then there's a form on Digi Rig that says, sorry, hold on. I have to go work the king. I will be back. 5 and 9, Georgia, both ops. 7-3, James. Okay, like I was saying before, I had to go work James. There's a form on Digi Rig's website where people are talking about using this with the iPhone 16. And I'm going to put a link to the form that I used in the description. In that form, there is instructions of how to set up the radio for it to work with the Apple device. It may be how it's set up for anything, but I'm using this with Apple devices, so it's how I got it set up. I followed those step by step, set my radio up like it, and this worked first try. It was beautiful. With FT8, that is, or FT4. I've done some work with it also from my iPad using the Digi Rig to do Hellscriber also. I'll make a separate video on that because there's some settings that have to be changed and whatnot because the app functions differently than the FT8. But it is possible to do Hellscriber from an iPad also. So I'm not going to go over how to set up and put the Digi Rig together. There's plenty of videos on that. I mean, there's two cables out of the back of the radio into here, and a USB-C from here. And I'm not using no fancy cable. This is the USB-C cable that came with my iPhone. I've heard a lot of good stuff that the actual Apple cables are shielded good, and I run this thing for about 2 hours today with this, no problems whatsoever. So I'm gonna get it set up. I've got a jumper here that goes out to my Antron 99 that's up about 30 foot. The reason I'm using that one is because it's like perfect SWR on 10 and 15 meters. And as you know, the 891 don't have a tuner. So we're going to, actually first, before just setting it up, I'm going to use a dummy load on the back to get everything set up and walk y'all through how it transmits and stuff. Then we're going to get on the air and see if we can't make some 10 meters or 15 meter contacts. So hang on and let me get it hooked up. Okay, so I've got it set up. We're on a dummy load. Right now we're turned to one of the 6 meter FT8. I know 6 meter out of a dummy load, out of my shack that is underground, nobody's going to hear it except maybe one or two of my neighbors that happen to be on FT8, if they happen to be on it. But we're set down to 5 watts. The reason I'm gonna got this on here, I'm gonna play around. I'm gonna start capturing my screen on my iPad and post it up like picture in picture. It's a little tricky to do this because it treats the Digi Rig as a set of headphones with mic. So there's a few things you have to do on your iPad to get it to work good. And then your volume control on your iPad is how much volume is going to the Digi Rig. So you have to set your ALC off the volume on your iPad. So let me get the screen recording going here. All right, so if you can see the little cursor. First thing in the top corner, you want to turn off the little notifications, because anything that comes up, that mutes everything as far as ringers, notifications, stuff like that. And then also I turn my Wi-Fi off. That way there's no, this is not a cellular iPad. So if Wi-Fi is off, it's not connected to nothing. So no other notifications or stuff's coming in like that. So then let's go right here. Yes, it's FT8, right? This one right here. Don't worry about Hellscriber. We'll talk about that one in a future video. And here you can see where I've worked some stations earlier. These are all the stations that I worked earlier. I did some 6 meter, 10 meter, 15 meter, different ones. So all the way to 20 meters. But right now we want to test our volume. You see the little cursor going across the top? That is the volume right up here. So if you notice, it's got a headphone indicator on it. So the only thing I don't like about this software is there's no like tune button. So you have to transmit your call to make sure stuff's right. So right now I'm set on ALC, and I know y'all probably can't see that, but you're going to take my word for it. So I'm going to hit call, and the next cycle it will call CQ here. And let's see here. Let's see what our ALC looks like. All right, so we're transmitting. We don't have anything there. We're going to volume up. Oh. About right there. It's giving me just, the ALC is just barely moving. We're going to wait for a cycle again. ALC looks good. Let's go over to power, and we're putting out our 5 watts. So we're set up as far as that. All right, let's stop this. All right, so once you play with this more, you will learn what your settings are. If you turn your data gain up a little bit, your data mic gain, you can probably run a lower volume on your iPad, but this is set at, I think, 5 or whatever that instruction said, and I was banging out contacts like crazy today at a park with it. So we're going to put the antenna on, and we are going to see if we can't make a contact. Okay, so one thing I forgot to go over on this program is the settings. So if you click the settings, of course you're going to put your call sign in, your locator. You can do auto locator, PSK reporter. That'll work if your Wi-Fi zone. Transmit power, you can set it to whatever. Band right here, this is where you need to select your band because it does not read it from the radio. So when you swap bands, you have to do this for it to log it on the correct band. So we're going to do some 10 meter. We're not doing anything extra, so we need to turn our CQ POTA off. That's right here on this one. If you're doing stuff like, CQDX, CQ a certain country or something like that, you can do it right here. We're just going to call CQ. Answer first. If it's selected, when you call CQ, you'll work the first person that comes to you. Once you're finished with that, if you hit call again and there's another station that's calling you, you will automatically start working that person. It's a little bit different than WSJTX, but it took a few minutes for me to figure it out. And then down here you can set how many times it'll call CQ, how many times it'll reply, send a report, and sign off. It's kind of like your watchdog thing. So we've got it 10 meters. We're not doing a contest, not doing any of that. So we're going to save that. I've already checked my LC on 10 meters. SWR is good. So, and you can see it's already, there's stations coming in. So we're going to find us a spot here. The little red lines right here that you can see, that's where you're transmitting. It don't have a certain place you're listening to. So as you can see, it's working. So even and odd, I don't think's a thing on this. When you call, you're calling even, I do believe. And that's the only time. Me and a guy was trying to work each other today, and he was texting me, and he's like, I don't hear you. And I think it was we were transmitting on the same cycle. And once I stopped and listened on this main screen right here, I found him, and I touched it. So we're going to watch for a second here and see if we can find us a clear spot. About 2400 looks good. There's a New Zealand station. I don't have New Zealand, I don't think. So all we have to do is tap it. If you see one of those calling CQ, if it's green, it's not in your log on your iPad. And now it's going to start working it. And it shows up lost. What lost means is it heard someone else working them, so you lost the race to get that CQ. So we'll tap listen again. See what else we got. There's a Chile station. Canada, Switzerland. Which way are we going here? Actually, I think that was okay. I don't know why it scrolled all the way to the top. But anyways, let's just call CQ. So we're going to tap the call. CQ will be called on next cycle, so we'll wait. Starts transmitting. And now we wait and see if somebody answers our call. I'll put that radio onto a dummy load too. That way it's not. Let me just turn it off. All right, so Papa Yankee 5 Delta Delta come back to our call. Brazil. He give us a -9. So now it's sending the Roger report. Seven threes, and it shows logged.
Needed spot.
You always say there's a needed spot when I turn my radio off. I don't wanna, sorry. My N3FJP over here is talking to me. And it says signing off and finished. Now it finished that one. So if I hit call again, it will immediately start on the next cycle calling CQ again. If there was somebody else that's waiting in line that's going to come back to me, it would automatically go to that one. It don't look like there is. I need you to hush. Can't mute the TV. I think the batteries are dead in my remote. But it's pretty simple. Just sit here and tap away. It calls.
Spot.
I hate electronics. If my radio's on, that thing will not talk to me and tell me there's a needed spot. I'll figure that out another day. If I get rid of Windows and get Apple, I'll understand it better.
Needed spot.
So we made a contact. We can go right here at the top to the little clipboard. And that top one right there is our contact we just made. Gives you the information on it. If you click on it, it opens it up. You can add some more stuff, change stuff, whatever you need to do. If you hit the little button in the corner, you can export all log entries or the new since last export.
Needed spot.
So I exported all these earlier, uploaded on the POTA, so if I exported it from last export, it's just going to give me the ones that I've done right now. So anyways, that is how this works. Alright, I'm going to try to keep it short and not make this a 30-minute video, but I wanted to make this video because I haven't seen anyone else use this setup on YouTube. I've searched it and I couldn't find it. People were using auxiliary cables and doing different things, and that right there, Digi Rig, the two interface cables, and a USB-C is all I need now to do FT8, FT4, and Hellscriber right now. There may be some other apps that I don't know about yet that I can do some other digital modes. I'm going to look into those. But that's the only ones I've found right now. One thing I forgot to mention is when you first plug the Digi Rig and connect it to your iPad, it pops up with a little prompt. And it says, is the current device headphones or other device? It gives you those two options. You want to tap headphones. And what that does is it gives it permission to use your microphone and your speakers and stuff like that. So that's one little thing I forgot to mention. So hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. I've got some shorts up. This is going to be my first video on this channel as far as ham radio stuff. I think I'm going to get into filming some more stuff and putting on here. So subscribe. It only helps out. Thank you much, and I'll see y'all on the air. 73s.